Hello and welcome to back to Hacked in the Dark presents External Containment Bureau. Due to scheduling issues, I will be taking over as game master for tonight's game. So let's do a real quick player introduction, starting with Eric.
Hi, my name is Eric, and I will be playing the role today of Agent Pappy. I am a ex-Southern preacher from the Deep South who's got a big heart and an even bigger mouth.
My name's Mark.
Zal.
Nope.
Oh,
Go ahead, Zal.
My name is Al. Variety RPG Twitch streamer. I'm playing Agent West. He rivals the loudmouth with his own kind of loudmouth, but mostly a complete lack of tact. He is a former mafia enforcer individual, and he kind of asked the right to the point questions and got into trouble.
My name's Mark. He, him. I'll be playing Agent Conti tonight, or Conte. They're French Foreign Legion member, or previous one, turned field ops agent. And I'll just be backing y'all up tonight.
all right. So, as a brief recap, previously on External Containment Bureau, things were spiraling rapidly out of control for our agents. Upon hearing some suspicious rumors at a college campus, the Bureau sent their vanguard to investigate agents, Agent Pappy, Agent West, and also Agent Darby, who was previously played by me before I took over GM role. Agent Darby being an ex-agent in the body of a 14-year-old boy. While investigating a mysterious suicide, the agents found the victim, Thomas Frame, having died under strange circumstances, seemingly having perished before hanging himself in his dormitory, with mud still on his shoes, and with many dream catchers in his room. Following the threads, it felt like all roads led to Dr. Philip Salazar and his partner, Dr. Saunders, partners in a grant project called the Institute for Enlightened Exploration. In his office, they found Dr. Salazar, seemingly sleeping, but with an air of the supernatural about him. His office was supernaturally sealed to lock him inside, but it wasn't long before news arrived of another death, Dr. Salazar's partner, Dr. Saunders. One of the students involved with the Institute for Enlightened Exploration was the girlfriend of the victim, Genevieve Williams. She was already cagey when the situation started, but when confronted with the current situation, a dramatic change came over her. Becoming cold and blank, she walked away towards the physics building. Against Bureau directives, Agent Darby separated from the group, taking the elevator up with her to the upper floors. Acting with surprising ferocity, she attacked him with a knife. Darby's gunshot rang out through the building, but he was stabbed in the ribs. Darby is now MIA. Can the agents get to the bottom of what's happening? Can they rescue their fellow agent? Is help on its way? Find out now. All right. And with that, our game is going to begin. We see outside, parked near a lake, just on the outskirts of this scenic college campus, the late night light of the sun as it's starting to go down, shimmering through pine. And we see a white van. And inside the van, there's an agent with their finger on their ear. And they turn and they say, "Looks like things are going pear-shaped. We're sending you out, Conte."
I think Conte just kind of silently nods and just like boom, flushes out of the van with their hand on their sidearm, kind of like ready for anything, but dashing towards the physics building, I guess, or wherever the call, for that came out.
Yeah, the physics building are where the agents are currently located. Speaking of which, cutting to the inside of the physics building, we cut to the lobby. Agents West and Happy are still being harassed slightly by the security at the front desk.
West
You recently just saw Agent Darby go up and heard a gunshot ring out through the building.
West was headed up the stairs when we ended last. It's just
Okay.
Pappy that's dealing with the young lady.
Yep.
Oh, excellent.
All right. So Pappy, I think, noticing, hearing the gunshot, will reach for his badge and he'll pull it out and he'll like hold it in the air really high and he'll raise up his voice and he'll say, "Attention, everybody! I'm sorry to interfere, but it appears that we have a gas explosion in the building. I'm gonna have to ask everybody to leave at this point. Please exit in an orderly fashion, but as quickly as possible. Thank you very much."
This is definitely going to be an action roll as you try to get these people under control and to follow your directive.
All right. So is this I assume I'm following directive here?
I would say that you are following bureau directives. Yeah, you are trying to, at the very least, muddy the waters about what the situation is.
Yep, sure. And then I will do I get an extra die if I just use standard issue gear?
That's a great question. I'm going to say yes.
All right. So
I believe that common gear does not provide a bonus, but standard issue does.
Okay, so part of my standard issue gear is a cover identity, which I think we're coming in as police officers. So I'm hoping that holding my badge would count also as a second die.
Yes, correct.
Okay, great. And I think I don't think there's anything mystical or resonant about my ask, so I don't think I'm using any of my dark powers here. So is that just a 2D roll? Am I getting that right?
I would say that also, you used to be a preacher, and part of that is using your voice to influence crowds. I feel like that definitely dovetails with what you're doing, so take a third dice.
All right, and that makes total sense to me. I will roll 3 dice.
All right.
And I get a 5, a 2, and a 2, so I get a 5.
All right. With that, I think that the lobby, you're going to see there's the people who are milling about to and fro. There are the security officers. You are persuasive enough that it feels like all of them are going to follow your instructions, and they're going to start filing out. The impression that you get, though, is that no one really buys what you're saying. They just know that this situation is getting wild, and they want to get out of there.
I see. All right, great. I'll take the win.
So yeah, people are streaming out of the building now, and the person who you are interacting with, the security person, they're going to look at you. They're going to kind of squint, look you up and down, and just give you a side eye before they leave.
Belong now. This is for your own good. There's nothing to see here. Just come on, carry on.
Yeah. And so with that, they are indeed filing out of the room, leaving you unobstructed.
All right. As they do that, I will radio up to Agent West. Agent West, tell me what the hell is going on up there.
Well, I'm just trying to get up the stairs, all right? Like, there's a lot of them, you know? They just shot up like 4 or 5 floors, and I'm trying to go upstairs. It's just exhausting, man. Just too much ravioli, I tell you.
Now, you know the Lord says that you are what you eat, and I keep reminding you not to have so many of those croissants for breakfast now, my friend. Hurry up. We need to get to Agent Darby as quickly as we can.
Guy's calling me a freaking croissant, and I'm more of like a cannoli. What this guy calls a croissant? I'm gonna have to talk with this guy afterwards. And the radio is like still trying to like heave his way up the stairs.
Agent Pappy, you can see that the elevator has finally stopped on the floor.
Oh, sorry, which floor?
And you're able to get that information if you wish. The 6th floor.
All right. Okay, so I will took All right.
It might be
Agent
Conchi that likes
coming in?
croissants. Huh?
Speaking of which, Agent Conte, you approach the physics building, seeing a crowd of people kind of streaming out of the lobby as you approach. It definitely feels like there's some commotion and there's some agitated whispering happening amongst them as they are pouring out.
Conti's probably keeping his ear out for anything, you know, anybody saying anything interesting, but they're mostly concerned with just like keeping the path open so that people can continue to exit the building, trusting the other officers, in the team.
The snippet that you're going to hear is you see one person walking out who the audience recognizes, but you don't, as the security officer. And she's shaking her head and talking to a friend and say, I tell you, the last 6 months here have gotten weirder and weirder. I'm done with this. I don't need this. As she's walking past.
Okay.
And cut back to Pappy in the lobby just as Agent Conte enters the building.
So I will be relaying up to Agent West. Agent West, the elevator has stopped on the 6th floor.
Six floors? Jesus. Good goddamn. They're going all the way up to the top or something. I'm like at the 2.5 or something. Where far up am I?
Hey, Agent West, I don't need to remind you that we have heard gunshots, and Agent Darby's life may very well be in your hands right now.
All right, I'm heaving. All right, we gotta go save the kid that's not really a kid or something, and just for him, I don't know. I'm working my way up. Come on, I'm trying to sprint here.
All right, so
The amount of time.
Go ahead.
The amount of time that you are talking on the radio, you've actually made quite a bit of progress going up. You're about at the 5th floor. You got one more to go. Cutting back down though, Pappy and Agent Conte.
So I'll open the elevator doors so that, or I'll call the elevator back to us.
Conte's going to step forward. You see that he's pretty towering.
There is another elevator.
So he's just standing by the other elevator, kind of like, maybe we should just take the machine up.
That sounds like a wonderful idea, Agent Conte. I'm glad that you're here. Things have not been going exactly per the manual, if you understand what I'm stepping in there.
He kind of straightens his ruffled collars on his 2-piece suit, and seems to kind of agree. He's like, yeah, you're right. And he starts to straighten up his collars, and then he's like, once he's satisfied with that, he waits patiently and kind of bops back and forth between foot to foot, kind of impatient, or not patiently, but impatiently. He's sort of like nervous energy, and like I say, he's pretty tall, and he's got dark complexion and muscly. He's really fit. Ex-military.
I am not. I am old and haggardly. So, all right. I will enter the elevator.
I will as well.
Entering the elevator, you notice that the buttons that are numbered there go from 1 to 6, which is incongruous with information that you heard before, hearing that there was a basement to this building.
But you're saying there's no basement button.
There is no basement button.
I will.
Conti's gonna make a mental note, and it'll be like, no basement.
Strange. That's why I understand that the suspects we have been investigating have their lab, but it's strange that there's no elevator to get there. How did they get their equipment in?
Must be a different entrance somewhere.
That's
and I'm
why-
looking for keyholes, right? Little extra ways to get downstairs that maybe would be hidden.
You're looking for like hidden panels in the elevator
Yeah, just kind of looking,
panel
yeah,
itself.
circumspect. Right. Look at the panel, see if there's like an edge. Just kind of be like, all right, hit the button, and then just while we're riding up, we're probably like pulling on the edges. Like, is there a keyhole here? Looking for a little hidden hatch door or something.
Um, Looking, you do not see any like secret doors or panels that might move. But it is unusual that there seem to be two emergency stop knobs, the kind that you pull out rather than push in.
Hmm. I'll just kind of like be like pointing to the two, like, should I? Nah. Like
Yeah,
I go to like grab one, I'm like, nah, not yet.
yeah. I agree. I feel like getting to Agent Darby is our first commitment, our first priority here.
Yeah. Conti steps back, like up against the back of the elevator too, and readies their, I don't know, their stance for anything that might occur when when the door opens. And probably looks over at your character, kind of like, what are you doing?
Agent Pappy will slowly step backwards to the side until he's right behind Agent Conte. Age before
Okay.
beauty, I always say.
Yeah, Conti's in his like 30s or something, and so yeah, he steps forward a bit to make room, and then, realizing that he's going to be taking point. Yeah, he's like protectively in front of you.
Sweet.
He's pretty. Is your character kind of short and small, or is he like
Yeah.
tall and lanky? Or
We're going to cut back to.
Go ahead, Adam.
We are going to cut back to Agent West as you emerge from the stairwell. You are up here first. They onto it, headed to the stairwell directly. So you feel like you are here theoretically only moments after the elevator arrived containing Darby and Genevieve. And coming out, you immediately see that one of the elevator trail of blood dripping on the floor that turns into some drag marks that head down the hallway. The hallway here at the top of the building being austere and severe, with that kind of harsh fluorescent lighting above. It heads straight, and then the hallway itself turns left, but there are a number of doors on either side. And the obvious blood trail stretches out for a few feet before kind of
dragging around
not
a corner, maybe?
disappearing, but the volume of blood is lessened, making it slightly more difficult to tell exactly where it went. Do you want to wait for your companions, or do you want to push forward?
He pushes forward. He draws his revolver and goes up, like, jogging up towards the first corner that the blood turns around and presses himself up against the wall, and like peeks over, checks to see, and then like if there's no one there, when he tries to like inch forward down the hallway in that direction.
All right. Why don't you make an action roll for me to see how this tactical maneuvering is going to go?
Okay. Department procedures, probably.
I think so.
No, yeah, I'm not like bolting down and just praying. No department.
I think you're using your background, Mafia Enforcer. That makes sense.
Yep. The department permission. Well, no, that wouldn't apply because that's like doing something. That would be the spray and praying. Yeah, I guess it's just the two then. Procedure
All right.
and background.
Go ahead and roll them bones.
6 and a 1.
6. Nice. Turning the corner, you peek around it just in time to see a figure disappear into a room off the side. You see them go in. They do not see you, so you currently have the drop on the situation.
All right, yeah, and sneak up to that room that they went in. Well, as long as the walls aren't like, glass walls where it's like one of those like sophisticated office-looking buildings where like real walls stop being a thing. But assuming it's not one of those and it's not like some sort of like postmodern thing and it's like a normal wall, yeah, he'll sneak up to the wall, do something, press up against that room and kind of like maybe overhear anything from her first or anything going on before he like another assess as he kind of like is up against the door frame.
Sure. You are going to press yourself up against the door frame, and you are going to hear a male voice that's going to say, "This doesn't further our ends. Get rid of it." And then you hear some like scuffling sounds.
Interesting. He will hold position and hope the others are not too far behind.
All right. We cut to the elevator. The doors open, and you also see a trail of blood leading from the elevator doors to down the hall and around the corner.
Yes. So I think I probably, taking point, step out of the elevator and then kind of like step to the side to like gesture to the blood. And I'm like, we may need a sample of that on the way here, pretty soon.
Let us
check the floor.
So I'll take my hat and I'll kind of hold it over my chest and say, let us hope that it is not Agent Darby's blood.
Yeah, I make this grim face, like I think I know who it is, and then step towards the corner cautiously and look around to see if I can see any other agents or threats.
Doing that, you spot Agent West crouched under. There's a large window into the room, which he's like kind of crouched under next to the door, holding position and waiting for your arrival.
Okay, so I'll make some kind of like gesture, like one down the hall, and then military hand gesture type thing. And you probably don't understand any of that, so I'm just like,
he like
just like,
he tries his best. He's like kind of like.
Yeah, so I'll hold my finger to my lips, like I understand to be quiet, but nothing else. And I find
right. Cool. Yep. So guess we tiptoe our way down. Weapon out on the ready.
All right. You arrive in position. The problem is not getting into position. The problem is that you have incomplete information about what's going on inside. How do you want to approach the situation?
Kati's probably going to bow to your authority, to be honest. Kati's the least informed.
I can just see Wes, like, as they approach into, like, as they come up closer to him and it's like a little mini huddle, he's probably just kind of like, all right, now, we're going to do this on 3. Everybody got their guns ready?
I mean, I'm ready, and I look over at Darby, like, or Pappy, sorry, Pappy.
Yeah. So Pappy will lift up he'll open his suit coat and he's got no gun on him.
Naturally.
He's like, "Dude,
What does he have?
He has recording equipment and a lab coat. He's part of the
Useful.
research and development team, so you should expect great advice from him once we're in the room.
Conti just kind of shakes his head, like, ugh. And I think he's kind of like fishing around for something, like his old tactical knife or something to give you.
Yeah, I'm happy to take it.
He looks at it and he remembers the last time he used it, when somebody like leapt over like an embattlement or something at him in hot battle, and there's like a stain of blood on it, and he just kind of like rubs it with his thumb and then hands it over to you like, oh, I don't want him to see that blood on there. It's still dried.
Have it, but clearly not know how to handle it or like how to hold it, and so, but he's got it and he's there with you guys.
Yeah, it's basically a big F-all kind of knife.
Sure.
Yeah.
Rambo would be proud.
Yeah, so Bus is just like, so there are two voices in there, but not and he points to the blood, the fading blood trail. You guys ready?
So out of character, what is our practice for this? What does that mean between, you know what I mean? Does that mean we're going in there to shoot something, or do we not know?
Well, it's going to be kind of a hands up.
Or was just
hands up, stop what you're doing, like the
apprehension.
Apprehension, detainment.
There is a window that you can peek through in order to get more information, but that would also expose you to the risk of them seeing you before you're able to act. So you either go in with incomplete information or you risk exposing yourself.
I think Pappy, who's not totally aware of the tactical situation, is clearly the one who would like look through, like he doesn't even take his hat off, he just kind of like looks through the window.
It seems like procedure.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, that is going to be an action roll to see whether or not this makes the situation worse.
All right, so it's clearly my background has no dice from my background. I will.
Nope.
I will, however, use my dark powers to enhance my ability to detect what's going on in the room. That feels very in character for him. I'm not sure that I have any standard issue equipment that'll help. So if I'm catching that right, it's 1 die, right? And I just marked a point of resonance.
I think that you +1 for following bureau directives. You are not, this isn't part of specialized training, but you are in the act of trying to contain supernatural threats. So,
all right, excellent. So I will roll, and I got double sixes.
Double sixes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so peeping through. Oh boy, double sixes. What do I do for that? You get a bonus of some kind, but for now, looking through the window, you're able to ascertain the situation. Genevieve is there with a seemingly unconscious Darby, much of the color already drained from his face, a large blood stain on his chest. And she is currently working to open a window here on the 6th floor, and your immediate intuition is she's just going to throw him out the window. This is the easiest way to, quote, get rid of the problem. Next to her, the male voice that was heard doesn't quite compute with what you know to be true already. There is standing someone you've seen already, Dr. Salazar. Because you are tapping into your supernatural powers as well, you also sense a kind of aura about him, some kind of supernatural effect that's surrounding him. And with that, I think your bonus is just going to be that no further rolls are needed to initiate the next stage of your plan. You are able to act with certainty.
So I'm assuming that nobody's holding. Is anyone holding weapons in their hands?
Genevieve had a knife that was she is put down on the table momentarily. But the window is almost open, and you feel like you've only got seconds before she tosses Darby right out of there.
All right, so he will look at his two compatriots and he will just make that like go 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 go.
All right. We go.
I'm just a step behind. I'm just a step behind your character, Exile. So.
Yeah, we bolt into the room. Hey, yo, how's it going? Hands up. Everyone just hold what you're doing. Just stop in place there. No movements, okay? We don't need any funny business. There's been enough of that going around this university already, guys.
Conti said freeze while you said all of that. And he's standing there like poised, ready to shoot, but he's just waiting. And he's like, while you prattle on. Yeah.
At this point, Genevieve has gotten the window open. Upon the noise of you barging in, she spares a quick look at Dr. Salazar. He nods knowingly. She reaches for the knife, and Dr. Salazar disappears. He fades into dust, and just like that, the room is empty with just Genevieve, and she stares at you again with kind of this blank, deadpan look.
Should have shot first.
I don't think that would have been any different. They would have still disappeared.
No, I'm just kidding.
But I hear you.
I mean, I'm probably gonna shoot down, like let a shot ring out towards the blade. Like, don't do it. Don't think about it.
You're gonna try to shoot the knife out of her hands?
No, just shoot to scare or startle her so she can't grab the knife.
So it's like a warning shot across the bow.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, yeah, I think this is no, we're gonna not
is she
call
even
this
startleable? You know, that's what I want to know. Like, can she be startled?
We are
How
not
does
going
she
to call it an action roll because in the previous session, Darby had tried a similar warning shot and she was unfazed, and so your shot rings out, but does not slow her stride, and now she does have the knife.
Seeing the opportunity fading, I probably won't shoot her unless she comes at me, but Conti's like stepping back, like, you don't want to do that.
Conte, you have the most military experience. You are trying to approach this from like a tactical perspective. But West, you have this mafia experience. You are a little bit more familiar with down and dirty tactics. You are a little bit more familiar with someone being underhanded.
Yeah.
And reading her body language, she's got the knife. She's not going to attack you. She's going to finish Darby.
Oh, wow. I walk up and kick her in the shins then and knock her to the floor.
That is super duper an action roll.
Well, that's not protocol, but that is department permission. You can claim almost anything to be by the book as long as you accept 1 to 3 paperwork as determined by the GM. Totally doing that.
Wait, that's not protocol?
No. I know. It's
shoot her in the ankle.
Yeah.
Oops.
Is part of the background still. we're keeping with that.
Imminent danger, though, would be justification to violence, right? Like imminent emergency. You should be
I mean, you are trying to
justified, I think.
contain the situation.
Yeah.
Oh,
but I
okay,
think-
okay. So the overarching theme is not to be loud and violent. In other words, correct?
Yeah, because I think it'd be more like grapple and subdue. I'm being a little excessive by kicking her in the kicking her in the leg to try to drop her. That's kind of
This young college student.
Yeah, but I still got the department permission. We're still, gangster guys. So I still got 2 dice. I can't think of anything else that makes super sense.
Unless you want to spend a point of resonance in order to get a bonus dice.
Nah. Let's roll the 2. It's fine.
All right.
6 and a 5.
6 and a 5.
The dice gods are with us tonight.
Indeed. With a 6, this is all happening in slow motion as the knife turns and goes to stab Darby, but you run up and you just deliver a kick to her shin, taking her feet out from under her. And as she goes down, the knife swings down past Darby and embeds itself in a table like inches away from his face as she is on the floor. And while she is still struggling, she has been disarmed, and you are now in control of this situation.
Told you didn't want to do that.
What are you going to do to restrain her?
He puts his maybe foot on her back or whatever. It's like, hey, let's not go with any more of the shenanigans going on here. Gestures over the pappy and be like, hey, can you tie the poor lady up for a little bit while I got her pinned down?
Well, it certainly does not feel like the Lord's work, but he starts looking for something to tie her up with, and he will tie her up.
All right.
Because we don't have handcuffs. None of our equipment is handcuffs, oddly enough.
The floor is open to ideas about what you can do to restrain her.
Where? Is it a dorm room?
It's
like a lab or something?
No, we're on. Yeah, this is like a lab in the physics building. There are some large desks that are set up. I don't think it's like a science lab with Bunsen burners or anything. There's lots of books. There's
So Pappy will go to the reading lights, and he will pull the cords out of the reading lights and use those to tie her up.
Smarter than I would have came up with.
It seems that she is under control.
Excellent.
Pulling those cords out, you loop around her wrists a few times. And while at first she was struggling quite a bit against you, upon having her wrist restrained, she goes very calm and still.
Assessing the room, is there other doors in and out of this area, or did that person just disappear and we don't see any way they could have left, really?
This room does not have any alternate exits to your eyes.
Conti steps back into the hallway to kind of make sure nothing's moving out there, and just kind of pops their head back in, and they're like, clear the room.
The hallway seems clear and quiet.
All right, I will look to Agent West and be like, sir, I believe you are our expert in acquiring answers. Why don't you perform your duties?
Yeah, I don't know where to start anymore. The guy's got, ghosts and stuff are just materializing and disappearing all over the place now. Everyone's all You know, they don't got any meat to them anymore.
Conti just starts to like crouch down and like look under tables and get up high and low, and if they're not seeing anything, they might just kind of be like, something's fucky.
I think now that we got the ladies, tied up and whatnot, it's probably time to get down to the basement or something and figure out what all this experiment is and what it is. We gotta shut down however they're moving about and whatnot,
All right. I will call out to Genevieve and I'll be like, Genevieve, do you hear me?
I do want to point out that Agent Darby is still bleeding on the table.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah. Stop his bleeding. I got some military training. I probably could help with that.
All right, we're gonna take care of that first, and then we're going to loop back around to Pappy.
Sure.
Agent Conte, looking down, you see, for all the world, a 12-year-old boy who looks like he has been stabbed in the chest. A good amount of blood has come out. He is looking pale. He doesn't seem to be currently conscious. Even though he is still alive, the situation does look fairly dire for him.
Yeah, so instinctually I grab his shirt and try to plug a hole, and then there's like blood probably on his hands now and on the gun, and he like forks the gun over to Pappy, like, here, hold that while I work. And so he slaps a bloody gun against your shirt. Like, here you go.
Have some civilization, please.
Then he goes back to plugging the hole and trying to like stem off the bleeding. Uses his medical training of some kind.
All right. While you are thinking about that, what solution do you have to what to do with him? Do you think that this is a secure enough location you can leave him until the mission is complete? Do you want to try to call in backup to pick him up? Or do you want to take him yourself and try to move him to a more secure location?
I'm guessing procedure would be for an injured agent to go back to the van.
Yes, generally. Also, Agent Darby does have his own gun on him. So there are now 3 guns in play, if everyone would like to have one.
Oh, Darby, the 12-year-old had a gun?
Yeah, he's packing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He's ex-CIA.
Got it. Well, might fish the gun out of his pocket. Kind of like, you might need that, Pappy. We might need that. I probably sort of drag him out of the room, or like pick him up. He's not that heavy, right? So I'll just kind of scoop him up.
Yeah.
And just kind of like walk him to the hallway and be like stand proudly, like, you take care of this? Can you take care of this? And then maybe I'll take him.
I think that there is definitely going to be an action roll to see whether or not moving a stab victim worsens the situation. Trying to get him to the van, calling the van to meet you out front of the building.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll be like, I've got Agent Darby. Bring the van around.
The voice on the other side says, Roger, on our way. Physics building?
And I confirm, and I guess start to head for the elevator.
ETA 3 minutes.
Right.
All right, go ahead and make an action roll to, as a combined trying to staunch the bleeding and get him to safety.
Yeah, I'm plugging holes or, trying to tie him off while we're in the elevator, all of that, to save Darby's poor life.
Rip Darby.
Rip Darby. You can make it, buddy.
I assume that the Conte gets a die for background.
Certainly gets a die for background. Absolutely.
Okay.
And then he was using the shirt count as a die for an item.
That would be a common part of his common gear. So unless he has something more specialized.
probably does. Well, let's see. Field ops might
That's
include
not
some
true.
kind of.
The two-piece suit is part of your standard issue. So what it would, the compromise would be you get a bonus dice, but you are going to be your two-piece suit, which is part of your cover, is going to be compromised. So basically, you are either tearing off part of your suit, which makes you stand out, or you are being covered in blood, which makes you stand out. Either way, it is going to make it more difficult to be undercover.
Yeah, I don't care. He rips his shirt sleeve off, or his jacket sleeve off, like from the shoulder. He's just like, and then starts to tie him off. So he's got one arm exposed with like a white shirt, but the black jacket ripped right there with phrase. And yeah, so that'll get a bonus die for that. I see 2 dice. Am I following directives?
The Bureau directives are to identify, contain, and obfuscate. So no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I guess not.
The question is, do you want to spend a point? Do you want to gain a point of resonance for it?
Yeah, I kind of do. I think I think he's like part of the reason he got out of the French Foreign Legion was like things started to get crazy out there in the battlefields. Like when people were, all this death around him, that sometimes he would have like visions of things and he could feel the pain of his teammates, stuff like that. So he has like a flashback moment of like helping out someone on the battlefield, and then
Nice.
yeah, we see him like remember someone being like, it's right here, and then like they were totally knocked out, but it was like their spirit kind of talking to him, or their essence talking to him. So I'll mark a point of resonance for a bonus die.
All right, sounds great.
Okay, so 3.
Roll them bones.
That's 2 5s and a 1.
2 5s and a 1. All right. What's the complication?
Maybe somebody saw me. Somebody was leaving the building late. So they're like, what? So when the door opens, it's like somebody's there that shouldn't see me.
I think that's definitely true. I think that it's not in the building itself, because the building got cleared out, but it's you exiting the building. As you are leaving the front door, a white van kind of comes screeching up, and you are taking a bloodied child out and putting them into an unmarked van on a college campus. And I think there's just no way to avoid the eyes on that situation as you load him in.
It's like the Men in Black moment where everyone gets a picture, but some people got a good one.
Yeah, and maybe right now it doesn't look like, anything supernatural is happening. Maybe now it just looks like some G-men are kidnapping a wounded child. But either way, you know that the situation is not great, and it's going to take quite a cover story in order to make this one go away. But as you...
Yeah, probably won't red act that. That seems reasonable to me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Would you like to redact that?
Nah, I don't think so.
I should be prompting you to do that. I apologize for forgetting. But yeah, as you...
Is that Adam? Is that a tick on our exposure clock?
Oh, I forgot about the exposure clock. I mean, that's only a 4-tick clock, so I feel like that almost certainly is going to fill at this point. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and that is going to...
Oh. Wait, so when that
with
fills,
the exposure
something bad
clock
happens.
filling, yes, definitely. Which is just a sense comes over all of you that this one isn't going to be easy to to hand wave away, no matter what. Unless you pull out something really miraculous, this is going to be making newspapers.
Okay, maybe I'll
Which
redact
is
that
going to, at the
after
very
all.
least.
Yeah, maybe I'll redact that after all. If that'll help here, then I will redact.
Okay. You are going to. It's a good thing that you spent that point of resonance, because when you are redacting, you're rolling a number of dice equal to your resonance. So,
Okay. So one.
roll.
Five. Yeah, I got a 5.
5. All right. In that case, you are going to mark 2 additional resonance.
Okay.
And so, with that, we're going to say that it's still fairly obvious what's happening, but the white van screeching up to the building, drawing all the eyes with it. There are still 1 or 2 people who keep it from becoming a scene, basically.
I was just hoping to make sure the exposure clock wasn't completely full. That's kind of what I was after. Is that also part of that, or is that?
Yeah, the exposure clock does not tick. It still has 1 tick remaining.
All right. I say we try that. Those 2 very, very weird emergency stop buttons in the elevator.
Yeah, for sure. We gotta check to see what we can do to wrap this up and not get, have this be ground zero for, some hysteria and whatnot.
My mom always said disappearing professors are never a good sign. So I'll go into the elevator, and does one of the emergency stop buttons, Adam, look more used than the other?
Yes.
All right.
One of them does.
So my sense is nobody ever uses the emergency stop button, so I will either push or pull. I will manipulate the one that looks very used.
Yeah, and I'm in the elevator with him.
All right. Agent Conte, are you headed back, or is it just the 2 of you going ahead?
I think I'm like I've not dumped, but I've kind of like unrolled our injured 12-year-old agent's body into the van, and I check. I just kind of like briefly glance back, but I'm like,
So we're waiting for you. So we'll do.
Yeah. I'm probably coming up to the first floor elevator while you're entering at the top or something,
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
As you drop off Agent Darby, his eyes flutter open just long enough for him to give you like a brief smile as he is dropped off and into the care of the other agents.
Very cinematic. Adam.
And with
I
that,
give him like
the
a reassuring
3 of you,
nod. Yeah.
Yeah. With that, the 3 of you reunite at the elevators.
Like, that's y'all coming down, I hope.
Yeah. That's us.
I'll be waiting for you.
All right. So we stop at 1 and we pick them up, and
Yeah, of course.
I'll enter in the elevator.
Yep.
So to me, this feels like the appropriate time for the theory roll. In External Containment Bureau, when the when the agents feel like they have gotten enough information, they make a theory roll and state what they think is happening within the mystery of the game, and then they roll to see how right they are.
Now,
So,
for a theory roll, what are the pieces that we would specify? Like, do we have to specify like a who, what, where?
So, as far as I know, there's no upper limit on the number of dice that you can get. But every time you answer one of these three questions, you get a dice. And the three questions are, what is the phenomena? How can you contain the phenomena? And how will you obfuscate the situation? And so the conspiracy board that the players have been working on in the background, with all the clues and all the different threads, they're going to pull from that in order to try to get a hypothesis about how to secure and contain the situation.
All right. So I suppose I have a theory about what's going on. So I'm going to say, what is the phenomenon? My guess is going to be that Dr. Salazar and Dr. Saunders found and captured a dream eater, and they have been experimenting on it in order to find ways to control people's dreams in order to kind of Manchurian candidate them. And they've been doing it on their two on their lab assistants, Genevieve and Thomas Frame. And that's why Thomas was taking LSD, because LSD, so I've heard, will reduce your need to sleep. And but eventually he just couldn't take it anymore, and they were afraid that he was going to go to the cops, and so they killed him. And so we're going to go down to the bottom, and we're going to either find Salazar or Saunders. No, Salazar Saunders is dead. And a captured Dream Eater.
I would add that to contain the phenomena, I mean, we've cleared the building, so, or, most of it anyway. I think we're containing it by preventing people from getting to that hidden entrance. And, yeah.
Obfuscate. Jeez, what would be the excuse to cover this up? Kind
of physics mishap.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think of something with the sleep thing. Like it was. I mean, you could almost do a little bit close to the truth. I mean, we could obfuscate it by saying like they were tampering. All of them were tampering with how. With some sort of experimentation on not needing the sleep, and they've been awake for so long that they started to go loopy, and some terrible things unfolded because they were not getting sleep that they need, and they were trying to avoid human nature basically, and things have gone awry, leading to the deaths of a handful of people and other weird symptoms.
Blame it on coursework, right? Like way too much, like studying too hard can lead to loss of sleep. And as you see, we've placed these students on complimentary medical leave.
I mean, that would work with a girl, but the other guy kind of, but not the professors though. Like it'd be a little trickier with the people who like organized it. But
right.
So I do think that it is my duty to just clarify what you are trying to obfuscate. We do have a suicide under mysterious circumstances. Yeah. We have Dr. Saunders' death, where she was apparently beaten. But a large part of what is being you need to obfuscate now is simply this investigation having gone somewhat awry with multiple gunshots in a building, stabbings, and a student who is currently tied up in an upstairs room. A lot of that also is part of the equation.
I think the staying awake thing and people going crazy still covers a lot of that. It's just people were doing what they shouldn't have. They basically went and lost their mind, and things unfolded in very erratic fashions. it'll be kind of a lesson of like don't pull this stuff to like avoid sleeping. Like it's a natural thing. It's okay to sleep, kids.
We could obfuscate it too by saying that something was in the water. I mean, just
Classic.
create a story about the water and that there's been a new filtration system added. Bullshit.
Yeah,
and
that would help.
That kind of add into the uncertainty.
So how about this? How about Genevieve, either something in the water or lack of sleep, like they're studying on sleep deprivation, right? For very, very normal, non-supernatural reasons, loses it. Ends up killing both Dr. Saunders and Thomas Frame, and then we capture her. And then we actually get her to film a mea culpa where she says, "Yeah, I did," a confession, right? So we get her to film a confession saying that she did it, and then we can release that, and then at that point it feels like pretty natural.
Yeah. Well, Thomas Frame's gone, right? So
yeah, he's dead.
It'd be easier to blame it on him than somebody living who might change their mind later.
Right. Except that people. So I totally agree. My only concern is that Thomas Frame was found by two people hung. So, I mean, I guess we could say he was full of guilt.
Yeah. He was guilty over what he did.
Yeah.
To the others. Yeah.
Sure. The timeline doesn't quite line up, but
I mean,
they don't need to know that.
It'll lead to conspiracy theorists. Like that's kind of the nature of things. It's fine. Nothing's ever going to.
Well, yeah, we're going to edit the paperwork too, right?
Yeah.
So, but the dates do line up.
But I think that's fine.
Pay off people.
Yeah, make it seem like people.
How about this? How about? Oh wait, okay. Gas explosion in the building doesn't really help, right? Like if we blow the building up.
Okay,
like we still have the hung guy and we still have Dr. Saunders. So I think blowing up the building while fun probably doesn't help us.
Yeah.
It sounds epic, but yeah.
I mean, I want to, and my department permission as being part of research development is I can produce an experimental device perfectly suited for the device at hand. So I was thinking I could either do one that erased Genevieve's memories and replaced it with memories where she actually thinks she did commit the murder, or a bomb.
I kind of like the first one now that you mentioned the little cool device. That's kind of nerdy and awesome.
Okay, so we are going to compile.
Look into this.
We are going to figure out how many dice you get by how many pieces of evidence you can tie to this, to your theory and to your plan. So, Dream Eater being involved, definitely one.
Yep.
What else?
Okay, so Institute funding it.
Yep.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's funding they got for when they told the Institute that they had a Dream Eater. I think the fact that he was taking LSD, that's a piece of evidence.
Definitely.
Yeah. The Dream.
I like the dream catchers. Yeah, the muddy shoes. I was going to say as well that this occurred somewhere else, so that we could tie that in. Like they must have been out there by the water pump systems.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Glazed red eyes because he seems like he was tired, and in addition, his friend Chet and Chet's girlfriend both said that he was having dreams where he was being chased, so that feels like dream control.
Yep.
All right. Anything else to add to it? All right, I'm hearing 4 dice. Does that sound correct?
Yeah.
How about a victim who can't speak up for themselves? Just kidding. That's kind of weaseling.
Roll. I'm good with 4 dice. Let's make the roll.
Yeah, 4.
All right. One amongst you, choose yourselves to make this fateful roll.
Ooh, who's feeling lucky or not?
Zal!
Oh, God.
For Zal.
Okay.
on, Zal.
You spoke first. Sorry.
I got voluntolded.
Yeah.
6521.
That is a
You
6.
were rolling good. Yeah, I like it.
All right. With a 6, the agent's theory is correct. The agents are able to act on the exact answers they deduced. And when we cut to the action, the agents can play it safe, which is equivalent to a controlled position.
All right.
And so that is where we are going to take a break as the elevator descends into the depths of the physics building with our 3 agents ready to end this. And we are going to take a 5-minute break and then return in a moment.